Hey, what's going on? Time for another video. I actually want to do another video today on a specific topic. I want a series on this specific topic because I put a lot of thought into it, but it's a lot of it, and that's gorgeous, by the way. If anybody knows if that's a legit place, let me know because I would straight up set up camp right here in the middle somewhere and live there. That is just drop dead gorgeous. I don't think it's a real place, but damn. Anyway, getting off topic. That's how my brain works. Uh, Pyramids too. I got a whole nother video set up for that. Uh, but I wanted to make a little series talking about how basically are we making ourselves dumber by trying to be smarter. And what this actually entails, there's a bigger thing that I want to focus on in another video, not in this particular video. But the gist of that thinking is we learn new things or what we think are new things, uh, but there's already stuff about that. For example, I was watching a CNC video or CNC machine video. It's like a demo, showing off their machine and everything, and that kind of thing. I like doing stuff like that, so I was actually looking into buying it. But and I'm sure it's like a marketing type thing. But as I was watching it, they had mentioned something about how their machine does, and I don't know exactly what it said, but it was talking about smooth cylindrical something lines, the smoothest in the industry, or something like it. It made straight lines. That was all it was doing. And yeah, maybe it was working better than others. I don't know, but how they were trying to use other words to make them sound more articulate, it just kind of bugs me because it had smooth sides, it had smooth lines. What's hard about saying that? And that's why I said it's probably like a marketing type thing. And I hope this music isn't bugging you. I've got something in the background that way it kind of sets the mood. It's playing in this video that I'm showing of the pictures and everything, but so I hope it's not too loud or anything. It kind of keeps me on track. But I don't understand why we think we need to be more articulate by making up new words that mean the other words. And that's what I mean by, are we making ourselves dumber by trying to learn this new stuff? Why don't we just, side note, that place is gorgeous too. I would live in that little barn looking thing that's right there. The water, the mountains being in the valley like that. Oh, God, that's life right there. That's awesome. I bet it's cold there though, especially in the winter. Anyway, that's off topic. Um, but that's yeah. I want to go into a deeper, way deeper into what I mean by that. But there's a couple of topics dealing with that whole aspect. So I mean, I want to break it down into a couple of different videos. But this one, I want to actually. This is what I actually been thinking about a lot. Was school, college. Um, is it actually necessary? So before everybody starts, flaming me about different aspects of, well, I went to school and it made me a better person or whatever. Good for you. Yeah, that's good. My outlook on college in particular is you want to go to college for something that you don't know. That way you can learn that trade and get a career in that field. That's what college is supposed to be. If you want to, up your game, so to speak. And that's all well and good. But what about the people who didn't go to college but knows more? And I'll get in more into it as well. But another thing of it is the money aspect. Uh, because it's all privately held colleges and whatnot, and if you do a lot more research, you'll find out more information on it. But they basically they set their own prices, and according to the federal government, they can do that, and the government will allow it and give these kids all this all these loans and everything to pay for it. putting them into so much debt that it's crazy. But you actually see it a lot in the like the Democratic presidential candidates, especially old Warren herself, are saying it. Oh, Pocahontas. Yeah, sorry, I had to throw that in there. But it's she's coming out with a whole, we're gonna forgive student loans and whatnot and yada 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 and the main question that conservatives are asking, is who's going to pay for it. She doesn't have a good answer for that. Same thing with all of their healthcare stuff. Who's going to pay for it? And I could do another video on healthcare too. Um, but what I recently saw was there was some guy in Iowa. She was out in Iowa doing her her campaigning, and some guy came up to her and was like, "Hey, I worked my ass off to put my daughter through college, and I paid all of her loans and everything, so she's loan free. Am I going to get that money back?" And she flat out said, "No, you're not going to see that money. Why would you?" And that's what I don't like, and that's what a lot of people should look at, and because it's gonna fuck a lot of people over, and it's gonna just put that sourness to the people who actually did pay their money. And I can actually say that because when I actually went to school when I was supposed to, back when I was like 18 or 19, I went to school for video game design. It was something that I was something I was into. I went to an online college. It was back when they were just now becoming big. So I don't know if I'm sure there's a lot that has changed over the years and they've gotten better. But back then, it was basically they sent you a book, um, read the book, read this chapter, do the assignment at the end, and that's what you do for the entire week. I didn't have no contact with the teachers. There was no like study sessions with the people that was in the class. There was nothing, and it was like I said, it just what didn't fit my learning style. And I'm not somebody who likes to sit in classrooms or anything like that either. I like to be more hands on, and that gave you the hands on, but they also didn't give you the guidance on where to start. And I remember it being it was a C++ programming class, and it was my first little dip into programming. I had absolutely no clue as to what I was supposed to be doing. I remember doing one assignment, and I worked my ass off on this assignment. And it was basically taking a command prompt, and I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but basically it was a command prompt program that done the area of a room, area of a rectangle, so to speak, to find the square footage or square inches or whatever you put in there. It was basically a calculator. It always pissed me off when I was working on it because I was like, "Why can't I just fucking type this shit into a calculator?" But that's what I was making, was a basically glorified calculator that had sentence structure and you just filled in the blanks and that was it. But I worked my ass off on that, and I did complete it, and I got a good grade on it or whatever. But I didn't learn anything. The book itself could have been in a different language for all I know. And so I dropped out after a semester because I knew I wasn't gonna do anything. Uh, Regardless the fact that I dropped out, they took their money and ran. They took it for a whole year, and it pissed me off that they did that. But I couldn't do anything about it because it was tied up with Pell. It was tied up with all that stuff, and they just got it. I mean, I signed it. I signed all the paperwork saying that all the money goes to them. I don't get anything. They got the money. That's how they did it. So I got fucked out of it. And I tried to talk to people. I tried to talk to people at the college. I tried to talk to people that I could get in contact with, and they basically all said the same thing. I'm like, the type of loan that you used. I mean, that's what it's there for. It goes straight to the school, and you can't do anything about it. Um, but yeah, I mean the money aspect. I paid. I ended up not paying it. Years and years later goes by, and they came after him. They basically said, "You're going to pay this, or we're going to garnish your wages." And I'm like, "Well, fuck. I guess I got to pay it now." Luckily, that's all paid for. That was all years ago that I finished that off. But I didn't get anything out of that. And that's my outlook on it right now, because I let me back up a little bit. Like I said, you go to school to learn something that you don't know. That way you can start a career in it. But you're supposed to go for something that you like, and that's what everybody always says. Do something that you like. Your life will be a lot easier and a lot better if you do something that you like. Well, like as I stated in other videos, I like computers. I like tech. I've been doing it for 17, 18 years. Um, my issue is everybody, all the employers want that degree. They want that piece of paper that shows them you know what you're talking about. My issue with that is I taught myself everything that I know. Um, I went back to a different school probably when I was around 24, 25, something like that. And I was going to go for I just went to a tech school, and I was going to go for computer science. Started going. I had these easy classes, and normal people would probably say, "Oh, well, I've got easy classes, so I'm just going to pass these and just breeze right through them and get on with my degree." I had an issue with it because I was paying for that. I was like, well, if I'm paying for it, I want to get something out of it, not just get a high grade in the class because I already know everything, and I did. I mean, I was kind of correcting the fucking teacher. I remember the first day that we went in there, he started asking people, what do you know about bits? What do you know about bytes? And I'm like, oh shit, we're going that simple. How many bits are in a byte, or how many bits are in a byte? How many bytes are in a kilobyte? How many kilobytes are in a megabyte? So on and so forth. And when he actually got to megabytes, I told him. He's like, well, how many kilobytes are in a megabyte? And nobody said anything. And he was like, it's 1,000. So I kind of spoke up and I said, it's actually 1,024, because it is. It's 1,024 kilobytes to make a megabyte. And he kind of smiled, and he was like, well, you do know what you're talking about, huh? And he was like, we're not going to get that specific. That's not what I was trying to get into. And I'm like, but that's the answer. I ended up passing the class with an A plus, 98 or something like that. The only reason why it was a 98 instead of a straight A, it was we did a final in PowerPoint. I know PowerPoint. I've worked with Microsoft Office for probably as long as I've ever fucked with a computer. So I know my way around PowerPoint. I set up a PowerPoint that was really good and everything, but I ended up missing a slide just because I got carried away talking, and I just because we had to do a presentation in front of the whole class about something, and I just got carried away talking, and I just skipped over a whole a whole slide, and he's like, I had to count off for that because blah blah blah, and I'm like, that's cool, whatever. But I had an issue with that because I paid money to go to that class for nothing. It was really boring. Um, and I ended up dropping out of it because I ended up going to a counselor, and I'm like, hey, can we speed this along, or is there any way? It was, no, you got to take every core class, you got to take blah blah blah, and I'm like, I'm not going to use half of this stuff that I'm going for. Why must you put this in there? And they put it in there that way they could charge you more for it. This is what it boiled down to. There was also another teacher that I got into it because I came in there wearing a hat, because I usually wear a hat. And dude was like, you're not going to wear a hat in my classroom. And I looked at him, I said, are you fucking dumb? I said, this ain't public school. I'm paying to be here. And he's like, well, if you're going to wear a hat, you can step out. And I said, peace. I never went back to that class. Uh, that kind of stuff, just to show some kind of power trip because you're a professor, no. This shit ain't going to work. If this was high school, I would understand. I'm there because, I have to go to school or whatever. I'm paying to be here. I could wear my fucking hat if I want to. That got under my skin at the time. Um, you could say it's a respect thing or whatever. No, no, I'm gonna wear a hat. There's nothing wrong with me wearing a hat. Just because you don't like hats doesn't mean you can tell me what to do when I'm paying to be here. I'm paying your fucking salary. And if it's not your salary, you need to fucking find another school to go teach at. And I'm not trying to badmouth teachers or anything like that. I know they already get paid shit, and I mean, you got to look at the system itself to fix that. I mean, that ain't my issue. I pay fucking out the ass. You know, it's $75 to $100,000 for uh, hell, even a 2 year degree nowadays. I know somebody who got their associates that after all of the taxes and the APR on it and you know everything on that, she's paying $90,000 for it. So I mean, it's insane to think about just for a piece of paper, just for a piece of paper. And you know, at my one of my previous jobs, I was designated IT for my immediate department because I told them, hey, I know what the fuck I'm doing. You don't have to spend. Because it started off as one of my coworkers spent 45 minutes on the phone with a help desk trying to fix a simple ass issue, and I was like, and I thought to myself because she sit next to me, and I was sitting there listening to her, and I was like, oh, "Fuck, I could fix that in 5 minutes. I should just go over there and do it." But I didn't. I wouldn't want to step on anybody's toes or whatever. So she had to go do all of that. Something similar happened to another coworker. You know, it's probably not a week later or something like that. She's like, damn it, I got to call the help desk and be on the hold for an hour or whatever. And I was like, hold up. I was like, run through your issue again real quick. And she was like, this is doing this. I was like, yeah, I got this. Fixed it in 5 minutes and said, "Here you go." And once they knew that I knew what I was doing, they just came to me all the time. But I like tech. I like being in computers and everything like that. But I mean, it's hard to get into that field because you don't have a degree, and it pisses me off because I know a lot more than somebody who's just coming out of a 4 year degree because I've done it. I've lived it. I taught myself, just like that little programming class. I taught myself. I've got a couple of years into programming now. I know my way around the stuff, and I know Linux. I know Python. I can sit there and code, So I don't want to waste money on a piece of paper that says I know what I'm talking about when I could just show you if you would just give me the opportunity. So that's my little outlook on like school and how it's all set up because it's set up just really shittedly. And it's just because all of these private organizations, they just want to get richer and richer and richer. And I understand from their aspect. They're a business. A college is a business. Um, but really, a lot of people, a lot of kids are going to college and thinking that they can get in these simple ass fucking courses like any kind of like social arts or liberal arts or any of that kind of shit. You're not going to go anywhere with that. Yeah, it might be easy and you might have a degree. How is it going to help you? Doctors, sure. I don't want nobody operating on me that hasn't went to school or don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Lawyers, same way. They want to fucking go through law school and everything. Shit like that. Yeah, and trade, any kind of trade. Just, I had to start like I don't know, 13, 14 years ago, talking about the hell's gonna do because I knew like the people that I went to school with, none of them wanted to learn any kind of trade. I'm sure they've got into trades now, but at the time they didn't. They was like, oh, I'm gonna go for this, I'm gonna go for that, I'm gonna make fucking bukus of fucking money and blah blah blah. And I always thought I was like, who's gonna actually be doctors? Because the people that I went to school with, I don't know. If they can make it, absolutely more power to them. I'm not trying to badmouth them, but none of them wanted to. Nobody wanted to put in the work to be a doctor. And if anybody sees this that I went to school with and you're a doctor, let me know. Because that's good on you for sticking it out. But what I heard from people, they just didn't want to put in the work for it. And I was like, who's gonna be a plumber? We're gonna need plumbers. We're always gonna need plumbers. We're always gonna need carpenters. We're always gonna need mechanics. Uh, Whether we go to an all robot fucking manufacturing everything like that, and that's why the push for coding is going on right now. Um, you're gonna need people to come in there and do the hardware part, not just the software part. You need people to come in there and fix that shit. And then, like I said, we're always going to need plumbers. We all got a shit. So I mean, it's one of those things. So yeah, trade school. If you don't know what you're doing, yeah, absolutely, that's great. But if you don't want to go to school for something that you already know because you're going to get bored, and that's what happened to me. I got bored, and I'm still not going to go to school for it because it's a waste of my time, waste of my money, and it's useless because I already know my way around a computer. I already know my way around stuff. Uh, but I also know if I don't know something, I know how to learn. I know how to, go in there and right now you can. I move my mouse and then I usually don't like that showing at the bottom, but my apologies. But you go on, YouTube right now and type in something that you want to learn, and there's just bukus of information out on the internet. Don't take everything, for what it is. There's a lot of fucking lies out there. One of the biggest things that I really, really can't stand about the internet. The internet is an awesome tool if it's used correctly. It stores all kinds of information out there at your fingertips. It's a great thing. But when you use it as a crutch, you could easily tell you use it as a crutch. And I've caught myself doing it. If I don't know something, I'll Google it and YouTube it, and I'll learn. And that's good that you learn, but don't use it as a crutch. Don't use it as, oh shit, I don't know that. Let me look it up real quick. I've done it many times myself, and after the fact, I'm like, I knew that fucking answer. Why did I even have to look it up? It makes your brain lazy. Um, so if you're gonna learn something, retain that information, and then try to recall that information without actually looking it back up again. Um, but my whole ordeal is Wikipedia or any of those fucking sites that's user edited. People use Wikipedia for facts, and I find that just incredibly crazy because Wikipedia is user generated content. People can go on there and edit Wikipedia all day, every day. So the information that you're getting is possibly just made up shit that somebody went in there and fucking edited. Now I'm not saying that it's all bad. I'm just saying that that's not really a source that I would give credit to to prove something. And that's what people do. Well, I looked it up on Wikipedia and blah 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 blah, and I'm like, how the fuck do you know that's fucking real? I mean, somebody could have went in there and edited that fucking shit fucking 10 years ago and nobody's ever caught it and everybody just went along with it. Oh, well, fucking Wikipedia says it, so it must be right. No. That's really, really bad. Um, and that's an aspect of using technology to make ourselves dumber because we're learning bullshit, you know. But I mean, that's all this video was supposed to be about. I'm trying not to make it incredibly long and incredibly boring or anything. But I mean, yeah, that's my aspect on, and that's what I've been thinking about here recently because I've been trying to get into something that I like. Yeah, if I could get into IT or something like that, that would be great. Because that's something that I enjoy doing. However, I'm not going to waste $100,000 where I could buy a house, which I have bought a house. I could pay off my house with amount of money that they're asking for a piece of paper that shows that I know what I'm doing. When all you got to do is give me a short X amount of time to prove that I know what I'm doing. They won't give you that because everything's trying to go fast, fast, fast. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Okay, this one goes because he's got a degree. But I know more than him. But you make your own decision on that. Which is why I want to start my own business. That way I won't have to fucking deal with that. And if I was the owner of the business or whatever, which, if I'm starting my own business, obviously I'm the owner. I can make those decisions. Oh, well, this guy's got a degree, but hell, this guy's been doing it for fucking 15 years. Fuck, he has to know more. I'm going to give him a fucking shot just because. And that's the way I would look at it. But yeah, that's my little rant about school and everything. Like I said, I want to do a lot more on this particular series. I'm still going to do videos as far as living in a world of gray, because that's one of my things that I want to get out there. But it's like a little sub series within a series about how we actually could be making ourselves dumber by trying to be smarter. Um, but anyways, until next time.